Now, we're going to talk a little bit, I guess, about the elephant in the room. Um, Obviously, we're going to get his statement. We're going to get, all the stuff. Russell Brand is somebody that, has had a checkered past, and has never kind of gotten away from that. He's never denied that. So, if you've seen the news this morning, Russell Brand was charged with a multitude of crimes. These are all seeming to stem from, I believe it was like last year when they talked about, when they talked about him getting Me Too'd. These charges, now look, if he did it, okay, well, I guess that's for the courts to decide. But I'm going to point out that I'm extremely skeptical. These charges are more than almost 20 years old. These are things he was supposed to have done 20 years ago. My guess is there is no shot they have any physical evidence of this. There is no way they are going to be able to convict him. Like, these are for crimes allegedly committed in 1999. 26 years ago. In 2004, 21 years ago. And Westminster in 2001, 25 years ago. Like, these are all things that allegedly happened more than 20 years ago. And it's all stemming from essentially their attempt to, in my opinion, smear him, and whether it was Me Too'ing him, all this kind of stuff. Look, Russell himself has said that, he was an addict in basically every sense of the word. But he has also vehemently denied ever doing anything without consent or without any, action. This is another E. Jean Carroll thing. They know they're not going to get a criminal conviction of him. How on earth could they criminally convict him of a crime 26 years ago? They're convicting him on a Friday afternoon when you can have maximum PR damage. I'm just saying, maybe there's a video. Maybe, it's bad. There's a video and it's all going to be proven. I suppose that's for the courts to decide. But you tell me if you think that it's awfully convenient that they announce this on a Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock UK time or 2 o'clock. They purposely announced it at the end of the news cycle. I mean, doesn't anyone think that that's a little suspicious? At least I do. Don't you think that's a little odd? I just again, maybe he did it. I don't know. He's set to appear in court now in May. He was charged by Metropolitan Police on April 4th for, crimes that he had acted up. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. Do I think that he was, do I think that he was acting very poorly at this time in his life? Yes, I do. He's admitted that. But I just, I feel like these have been charges that they've been trying to stick him with for years now. I don't think they have any real physical evidence. I don't think that they're going to get him on a criminal conviction. And I also don't think that I don't think they actually care to. I don't think that they're interested in any way in getting a criminal conviction. I think that they are only interested in ruining his ruining his reputation. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe evidence exists. Maybe evidence exists, but I don't know. Here's what Russell had to say.
Hello. Firstly, thank you for these incredible and overwhelming messages of support. We're very fortunate in a way to live in a time where there's so little trust in the British government. We're very fortunate, I suppose, that this is happening at a time where we know that the law has become a kind of weapon to be used against people, institutions, and sometimes entire nations that will not accept and tolerate levels of corruption that are unprecedented. I'm speaking particularly to those of you that are watching this in the UK. How do you feel about your legal system right now? How do you feel about some of the high-profile cases that are not being pursued and prosecuted? How do you feel that the Southport murders were handled? How do you feel about the government of Keir Starmer? Now, that's just sort of general context. Me, I've always told you guys that when I was young and single, before I had my wife and family, who were just out of shot over there, my beautiful children, I was a fool, man. I was a fool before I lived in the light of the Lord. I was a drug addict, a sex addict, and an imbecile. But what I never was a rapist.
Yeah.
I've never engaged in non-consensual activity. I pray that you can see that by looking in my eyes. I want to thank all of you for your continuing support. I want to let you know that our show will be on Rumble on Monday. Thanks for your support there. And of course, I'm now going to have the opportunity to defend these charges in court, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. In the meantime, you lot, stay free. And we will be continuing to discuss this matter.
Doesn't seem like a guy who's very nervous to me. Doesn't really seem like he's super nervous to me. I mean, if this happened 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago, maybe. But this is exactly like E. Jean Carroll. This is like what they did to Brett Kavanaugh. This is what they did. This is what the machine does. It's entirely possible that he is guilty of this. It is. But I've seen too much. He's never denied, having some bad habits back when he was young. And I just don't think any of those habits involved, taking people against their will. I don't buy that. This guy doesn't look like he's someone who's worried about going to jail. To me, this will have to play out in court, but it sure seems like lawfare. The UK government is more interested in investigating this, spurious claims with no evidence, almost certainly, from 20 years ago, than in investigating murders and stuff that happen in the UK right now if it happens to be done by an immigrant or an illegal. So I don't really know. I don't buy it just because they've been trying to destroy him for years. Now, if they have some sort of bombshell evidence, let it be seen. But as with, and I know this is controversial in the conservative space, but just like, Andrew Tate, where was all this evidence that I keep getting told that they had against him? How come they couldn't convict him? I keep getting reliably told by people on the right that there's mountains of irrefutable evidence about Andrew Tate. For some reason, they didn't convict him of a damn thing. So people that are going to say, no, I'm not going to say he didn't hook up with these people 20 years ago, but I mean, I don't buy it. I think they are coming for Russell. I don't believe these charges. I believe they are extremely fishy. And as of right now, I've seen no evidence to not completely stand next to Russell Brand and stand beside him against this. If there's other evidence that comes out, okay, maybe. But as of right now, we're looking at 25-year-old claims with no physical evidence, no video evidence, almost certainly, because it would have come out by now, because they've been trying to get him ever since he started speaking out against the machine post-COVID. So no, I'm going to be on record right now based on everything I see. They're just trying to shut him up or extort him for cash. I don't know how much money Russell Brand has. He has his Rumble deal, but I'm not sure he's like rolling in hundreds of millions of dollars. Right now I see no evidence of it. So I will continue. I will stand next to and with Russell Brand against this lawfare.